Yeah, I got to go ahead and quickly just bust a bubble right quick. All right. Okay. So many have seen these pictures and equate these pictures to what American Indians in America really look like. They're using these statues to reveal that the original Aboriginal indigenous people of America were black. Okay. And I can understand why this is believed because of the color of the statue. Okay. Now I'm going to go through some various statues of the tobacco Indian cigar statues, right, used by tobacconists, all right, those who sold tobacco based on the slaves, right? So we're talking about tobacco companies, the marketing of these original tobacco companies. Now you should know that the cash crop in America was sugar. Well, sugar was in the East Indies, in the West Indies, sorry. But basically, hemp and tobacco was one of the first cash crops in America. Okay, so let's find some more of these statues. All right, here's another one. Right, the brother got a turban on. You know what I'm saying? He looks like a Muslim. All right, these are black Moors. Okay. It says the rare American carved and gilded tobacco trade figure, second quarter 19th century, attributed to the Boston Salem School of Carved Figures on a black painted platform, the figure retaining its original gilt surface, dressed in traditional Turkish attire and turban, holding a carved bundle of tobacco leaves. By repute, this figure was used in antebellum Mobile, Alabama tobacconist shop called the Gilded, where am I? The Gilded Turk, which sold Turkish tobacco. Okay, tobacco originated in the Americas and was introduced to the Ottoman Turks by the Spanish. The Ottoman people over time developed their own method of growing and using tobacco. Okay, so this is a Turk. Even though it says American Indian, all right, it's developed and designed in Turkish form. Cigar store Indian, wooden Indians. Okay, you see that? Okay. Okay, so it's no doubt that the tobacco comes from America. Okay, the tobacco was taken to England. Okay, discovery of the New World brought about a revitalization of European culture, which would lead to the Industrial Revolution and the pursuit of raw materials and markets, which in turn will lead to worldwide European colonialism on a grand scale. The Americans' contribution to world culture was tobacco and its first cash export crop. Okay. So the question is, are these figures original Indians or are they African? They are African. Okay. They are African. The origin of the wooden Indian dates back to England in 1617. I'm going to show you another site that gives the same information right here. The origin of the wooden Indian dates back to England in 1617, when small wooden figures called Virginie men were placed on countertops to represent tobacco companies. These Virginians, The local English renditions of Indian were depicted as black men wearing headdresses and kilts made of tobacco leaves. Okay, now there's a reason why they were depicted as Africans. Okay, Dan Calloway said the Native Americans wore turbans. As steamships brought about the decline in sailing vessels, the professional carvers turned their attention to new marketing enterprises. Most cigar store Indians were carved in eastern seaboard or midwestern cities by artisans who might never have actually encountered a Native American. You see that? Now it says here the figures look like white men in native garb. In retrospect, experts believe that the population of original cigar store Indians made, said to be approximately 100,000 or so around the turn of the century, is now about several thousand or less. Okay. That's the figure holding the tobacco leaves. Okay. All right, let's go to some more information. Okay, here are more pictures. Fall Creek Gallery 2015, Indianapolis, Indiana. Okay. This is a site that is talking about the tobacco Indians. Okay. Okay. This is the information breaking down. Now it says here in 1614, John Rolfe, however you want to pronounce that, married the Indian princess Pocahontas with her father's approval. The union symbolized a growing trend of Indian submission, colony independence, and tobacco as a commercial crop. John Rolfe remained a successful tobacco planter, and the following 8 years of peaceful Indian relations stabilized the tobacco production in the colony. Now, I don't know if he really married Pocahontas or whatever. That's what this video is not about that. But the origin of the wooden Indian dates back to England in 1617, when small wooden figures called Virginie men were placed on countertops to represent tobacco companies. Okay. So this is what they carved is not what they seen in America. This was their rendition of what they thought a native Indian looked like, right? Why would they have these descriptions? Okay. Because they've been in India. All right. They've been in Africa. Okay. When you think about 1617, the 1500s and the 1400s, there's Moors in these European countries. Okay. This breaks down all the sculptors. You dig what I'm saying? All right. Perusing the site, there's all kind of tobacco cigar statues, right? You see? Once they got an idea of the Native American and they seen the Native American, then the Blackamoor statues were not created anymore. Okay, so this is Sosolinha's video. It says the original inhabitants of the Americas read between the lies. All right. So he's saying that this is a depiction of the original inhabitants of the Americas. Okay, let's tune in and let's listen to what he got to say. Let's see how he describes this figure.
Show you guys how people like to talk trash, and they use the lookership and be like, oh, well, this guy, he looks African to me, right? So they use the lookership to peddle the same race.
But he's doing the same thing. Let's proceed. He said lookership. You're looking at this figure and saying that this is an original inhabitant of the Americas.
This narrative and trope, right? To take away your heritage. Because if the people, most of the people, even if they're European, if they're American, if they're from whatever, if they peddling the same out of Africa slave mentality thing, right? When they don't have no evidence, right? They follow the same racist mentality. Doesn't matter what they look like. If they talking the same crap without no proof, they follow the same line of being racist and try to suppress your heritage, trying to lie and steal your identity, and trying to put you somewhere that you've never been and you never belong to. And the reason for the long intro is because we got the receipts. So let me give the shout out to Stephen Joseph Levels Green for the receipts, to shut up the naysayers once and for all, and to give you more validation of who you really are. All right, so let's get into it real quick. So I'm show you some more pictures of how this person is an American Indian right here. Watch this.
Let's go.
Here's another angle so we know what we're looking at. So when we get down to description of this item, this artifact, we know who we're talking about. Again, just for really just driving the point home, because we need to really lock it down. All right, so like we've been saying before, right? Most of the time, 90% of the time, the USA is not going to have stuff like this, and they're not going to tell you nothing, right? Because once we find something, we're like, oh, we need the masses to see, you know. So we're really thankful for you guys for tuning in every time and liking and sharing and commenting. And if you're viewing this, please like it, please share it. If you're looking at it, please like it. I'm telling you, like, we need the truth to get out there as quickly as possible to as many people as possible. So we come to the Museum of Art and History and notice it was in French, or another language. So we had to translate it to English, right? So you come here, click on menu. All right, after menu, you go to discover. After you translate it in English or whatever, right? Discover. So you guys see, we had to put it in English. Right?
Let's go.
And then from there, you go to collections. So like I said, you got to chase down. So thank you so much. If you're listening, Stephen Joseph Levels Green, thank you so much for this, man, because this dude is amazing. All right, go to collections. And then also take a look at our Carmentis online catalog, right? And then boom, click on that right there. Then you search up slave, right? Still in English, so we have to translate it from French. All right, y'all see it, right? And you see what it says underneath it, right? You see it says Indian sledding. Don't say no African sledding. All right? Because you know it's us when they say Indian. You know,
Indian is Hindus.
because the lie of Hindustan, the name Hindustan right, was applied to Hindustan when they try to lie and say that they were looking for India. The country of Hindustan never was named India until 1947. It was the British company that stole the name from America, which was originally called India Superior.
Okay, let's look at Hindustan.
Used the name India for exploitation.
Now, see, you got to go into information, right? So when you say Hindustan, Indus is in there. Indus is connected to Indian, right? So you notice the name of the ocean is the Indian Ocean, right? The name of the ocean is Indian Ocean. Now let's look, okay? Because he's saying, Sosolinha saying that India wasn't derived until 1947, okay? Now let's look at the etymology. The Indian Ocean has been known by its present name since at least 1515. Okay, since 1515, when the Latin form Oceanus Orientalis Indicus, Indian Eastern Ocean, you got to understand English and understand language, is attested named after India, which projects into it. It was earlier known as the Eastern Ocean. The Hindi name for the ocean is, and it gives you the language, okay? Literal translation, Ocean of India, okay? So the Indian Ocean and Indians were known since 1515, okay? So let's go back to my man's video.
That's it. That country of Hindustan was never, ever, ever, ever made or was called India at any point of time until 1947. So when Columbus and those folks, this quote unquote,
I just proved that wrong.
Discovered India, it was in America. That was the only place on earth called India. They did not make a mistake, and we've covered that in our previous videos. And if you need more receipts, hit us up in the comment section and we'll send it to you. So once we click on this picture that says Indian sledding, we go back and we go more. Watch. If you made it this far into the video, please like, share, and subscribe. If you're watching it, please, we need the likes has to go up so more people can see it. Please, thank you. And share it, please. See, it says title Indian sledding, not African, because they was trying to say that this Indian was an African. They had never ever said that this Indian, right, had looked like somebody from Hindustan. They always try to be like, oh no, that's an African. It looks like an African, right? When they had already discovered Africa and Hindustan because they were part of the old world.
You hear that? They are, because it was a part of the old world. See? So what is America? The new world.
America was the only continent that was part of the new world. The whole of America. I'm talking about North America, Central America, South America, to include the Caribbean.
You see how he just contradicted himself? They knew about the Hindus. They knew about the Indians. They knew about the Africans. That's a part of the old world. But
Caribbeans,
Americas
because
is the new
Columbus,
world.
he went to what, Martinique, went to Bahamas, went to Puerto
Come on,
Rico, went
let's
to
see some more.
I already said Bahamas.
Let's go here. What is he talking about?
Wide bend.
Okay, so body with straight sides and trapezoidal plan, bench covered in green velvet. Okay, at the spur, a large bust of an Indian headdress with feathers and dressed in a loincloth also made of feathers, a bow in his hand. He grabs an arrow from the quiver he carries on his back. Golden domed patterns on the body organized around blah, blah, blah. Okay, they saying Indian, right? Not saying black. Okay, let's go see if he got any more pictures. Okay, it goes back to the picture. Okay.
A million years ago, so we know it's not them. They don't rock the locks, right? They don't wrap their hair like this. They're not Rastafarians. They're not Florida boys or Florida men that have locks. Louisiana, New Orleans, right? All up and down the East Coast, West Coast, Central America, everywhere, Caribbean, right? West Indies. They don't look like this. So now we're moving on to the Mongolians, the Native Americans. They don't look like this ever. Not a million years ago, not today, not in the future. Now we're gonna move over to the Spanish, the Spaniards,
so there we go.
Mexicans.
All right, so we're gonna jump forward.
All right, so we pulled up this two-picture collage. One on the left is a drawing depiction of America in 1671. The other one is 1705. The matriarch, right? The queens, the chieftesses. What America looked like 500 years ago. Depicting Indian, so remove that. Featured women, queens, chieftesses.
The picture on the right, we don't know if that's 1705. He got a date up there, but
they're very deliberate with their depiction.
We don't have no reference to the picture.
The complexion, the hair,
and those pictures do not look the same. Let's go forward.
And check this out.
Now that's where we want to be.
Again, USA, America, India. Look at the feathered headdress, right? Look at her hair style. Like, come on. Look at her facial features, phenotype, hoop earrings. Let's keep going. Look at the tobacco pipe she's holding. Look at the pendant around her chest, right? Look at the gold around her arms, right? And then they later try to say that's how they had us in shackles. They put gold, I mean not gold, but shackles around our arms or wrists. But we wore that as our jewelry, as just bracelets. And look, come on now. She cannot even be mistaken for anyone else, especially if we're talking to Virginia, USA. It's only one group of people that look like that in the USA, right? So, and again, the people from Hindustan, when they migrate over to the USA and live here, they don't call them.
All right, I'm gonna stop his video right there, and then let's get back to the sources to show you that the pictures that he are using are depicting Africans, right? And they're being called Indians. All right, now check this out, right? Because he had one date on one of them pictures. I don't even know if that's a true date. Hold on. All right. Check out this Indian right here. About 1800 to 1850, painted wood. It says Blackamoor. Okay. Feathers in the head. All right. This painted wooden figure is an example of a blackamoor, a stylized depiction of a black African man that was a popular image in sculpture, jewelry, and design during the period of the transatlantic slave trade and beyond. Blackamoors are often incorporated with within items of furniture portrayed in the role of a servant carrying a tabletop or a candle holder. They were also used as tobacconist shop signs in the 1700s and the 1800s. This figure came from John Johnson's tobacco shop, which stood in Bradshaw Gate in Bolton until the early 1830s. It was given to Bolton Museum by Counselor J.W. Thompson in 1919. He told the curator at the time that he had bought it about 15 years earlier and was told when he bought it that it had been in use in the tobacconist shop for over 100 years. Okay, this figure carries a plug or bundle of tobacco under his left arm and wears a crown of tobacco leaves. His right arm is extended, beckoning passers-by into the shop. It demonstrates how the link between enslaved Africans who provided the labor on tobacco plantations and the tobacco consumed by Europeans was translated into popular visual imagery. Now let's reiterate. The history and origin of the East Coast Cigar Store Indian dates back to England in 1617, when small wooden figures called Virginie men were placed on countertops to represent tobacco companies. These Virginians, the local English renditions of Indians, were depicted as black men wearing headdresses and kilts made of tobacco leaves. If you go down here, okay, this is the information that they have on these statues, right? All right, let's see. Okay. Hold on. Okay, as steamships brought about the declining sailing vessels, the professional carvers turned their attention to new marketing enterprises. Most cigar store Indians were carved in eastern seaboard or midwestern cities by artisans who might have never actually encountered a Native American. Okay? By people who never encountered a Native American, right? So this is depictions of the old world. You dig what I'm saying? You see the Indians that they are depicting as blackamoors were in England in 1617. You dig me? Okay, here's another picture, okay, with the loincloth of feathers represented by the tobacco company. Okay. Okay, here's more pictures. Okay. So let's say cigar, it says for the definition, probably from Maya cigar, to smoke rolled tobacco leaves. Okay, goes down to break down cigar. Okay, so 1839, the wooden cigar store Indian is from 1879. Okay, from 1879. Okay, American English, but wooden images of feathered Indians or Negroes are mentioned outside tobacconist shops in England by 1852 and are said to have been in earlier use on the continent. Okay. Blackamoors and other dark-skinned foreigners have always possessed considerable attractions as signs for tobacconists. You see that? Blackamoors and other dark-skinned foreigners have always possessed considerable attractions as signs for tobacconists, and sometimes also for public houses. Negroes with feathered headdresses and kilts smoking pipes are to be seen outside tobacco shops on the continent as well as in England, right? The history of signboards from the earliest times to the present day London, 1867. Okay? We in the 1800s. All right, here's another picture. 1900. All right, this is France. Black boy, this is a style that they use to sell cigarettes, okay? All right, here's another one. An Indian blackamoor tobacco merchant, 1700, 1750s artist. It says Dutch school, okay? All right, this is the last little picture I'll show, and I'll leave it right here. I think this really will just wrap it up. Okay. So we have another picture right here. 19th century American tobacconist advertising figure. Okay. This antique has been viewed 10 times in the past month, with the most views from the United States. Okay, you see over here is United Kingdom. All right, let's go into the description. A rare 19th century American tobacconist advertising figure of large proportions, well carved and polychrome decorated, modeled as an African American. Okay. The headdress was a gilt band and tobacco leaves, wearing a large gilt beaded necklace and pendant, holding a roll of tobacco under his right arm. Now, I already showed you this picture, right? And it said he was a blackamoor and said he was also an Indian. What I'm saying is you can't be Indian before you was African. Okay. Now, what I'm looking for is, when did people like this, with this description and look, rule America? Okay. Now, from what it was given, some of these people who made these statues have never seen a Native American, so they used the blackamoor as the description. Why not show a little more? Okay. This is emblem of the Black Man Pharmacy in Krakow. This is in Poland. Okay. So the black man in their language, I've learned, is to say the black man, you would say pod, P-O-D, Murzynem, M-U-R-Z-Y-N-E-M. Okay. Blackmore. All right. Same feathers on the headdress, right? See that? And what's that in his arm? Looks like a lion or a leopard, right? In his hand right here. You know that's African. There go another picture right there. So these pictures can't represent what the original Aboriginal American Indians look like. They're depicting blackamoors or Africans, right? So with that being said, I think I've knocked your video down in your research. You said there ain't gonna be no receipts on the pics and things of that nature that you found. But basically, the pics that you're using and you're depicting are of African slaves, right? Being dressed in what the white man describes as Native American attire, right? And advertised for cigarettes and things of that nature, all right? That loincloth, though, comes from Africa. Last imagery. This is from a brother by the name of Koff Warner. It says Indigenous Americans, but you see next to him it says more. Okay, more. right? These are Africans. All right. Italian black or more bust of an American native. And with that being said, I'm out.